Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. So the week is here that might have stunning contrasts with 1968 when the Democrat National Convention was also in Chicago. And obviously, there was a great deal of unrest and turmoil. There was a fight for the soul of the Democrat Party. And the party this time didn't want to relive that. So instead of having a contested convention with Joe Biden stepping aside just a few short weeks ago, Democrats have decided that they're going to have more of a coronation. Kamala Harris is the nominee. The delegates got in line behind her, and it was a done deal, even though there were, members of the Democrat establishment, the upper echelons of said establishment who, were worried about the coronation because they felt like she couldn't win. And, the Obamas were right up there. And then they had the cheesy staged phone call. So there has been a battle for the soul of the Democrat Party for quite some time. And there are a lot of people, traditional Catholics who vote Democrat. I mean, they don't really anymore because the party has become so pro-abortion, among other things. But the kind of Democrats that RFK Jr. was trying to appeal to when he was still running in that party before he was forced out. And a lot of them are very worried about the state of the economy and where the country is headed. That's why when they ask about those things, regardless of who's president right now and who might be, because we are going to have a new president, at least it's not going to be Joe Biden, 70% of respondents consistently say that the country is on the wrong track and the economy is going in the wrong direction. And, now once again, we're teetering on a recessionary bubble and it might burst and we might just topple into the gorge of a really bad economic environment. And that is what concerns voters most. So what has the Democrat Party done about this? Well, all they've done is inserted someone who is also a member of the more leftward edge of the Democrat establishment, Kamala Harris, and they're just having her run the opposite of her actual record and statements, which is very dangerous because you don't know how someone is going to govern when they say one thing and then say the opposite when it's politically convenient. And every voter should have an allergy to that. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat, but they are just going to highlight the aspects of her that are most convenient and appealing. That's what every party does at their convention. And it will be no surprise. What will be surprising is if this time they're trying to once again appeal to the souls of voters who have lost faith in the party and the system in general. And, those are the traditional, like my parents, Camelot Democrats who, really believe that if you're going to be in politics, it should still be about helping people, but raising everyone's taxes and creating government programs for every conceivable ailment that never really helps the people who need it most. It's kind of taken the country and the economy off track.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
So what are they going to do? They're going to frame, this is so laughable, they're going to frame Kamala Harris as a centrist. She is not a centrist, and she shouldn't run as such. She is going to say that, she wants to lower taxes. She wants to be tough on immigration. I wouldn't be surprised if she starts chanting, build the wall and lock her up, because she's going to cobble together whatever she can from the middle and pretend like she invented the ideas of economic soundness, lower taxation, and border security, which is the opposite, not only of what she's said, not only what she's done, but also what she's done within the Biden-Harris administration. She was tasked, now it's like, well, it's racist to say she was the border czar. no one says it's racist, but they're saying, how dare you say that, when that was the designation that was given to her in the media and colloquially. But now if you dare say that, it's like, how dare you? Because they've been given a talking point from the DNC that says borders are, how dare you? And they go, how dare you? And they give you a talking point that says Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are full of joy. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are full of joy. They're so joyous. I mean, it's really barf-worthy. I cannot stand talking points because it just shows whoever is disseminating them has no capacity for original thought, and they are really the worst of the worst. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to frame her as a centrist, and the people who receive the talking points, they will talk about what a wonderful moderate she is, and finally she's out of Joe Biden's lefty socialist shadow, and she can shine on her own as a tax cutter who is going to reduce the size of the federal government. If any of that were true, I would vote for her. If she were going to make the federal government smaller and less intrusive, if she were going to reduce taxes, hell, if she said she was going to audit the Fed, I would absolutely be on board. She wants none of those things because it's not in her. She's saying it now because she's been given canned, prepared speeches with lines that have been focus grouped. And she's been so carefully managed. And this week will be no different at all whatsoever. And it's going to be exciting and boring. And it's funny because I love this about where we work, because there are people here who are not on air, who actually are in the hair and makeup department, who are very gossipy, and they have friends in hair and makeup at other networks, and they gossip with each other. So they've been saying for the past week that Beyonce and Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and, all these divas are going to show up, and they're going to sing and dance and take off their pants for Kamala Harris. But then the campaign comes out and says, oh, no, we are distancing ourselves from celebrities. Wink. Because, obviously she needs celebrities to raise money, just like Joe Biden needed George Clooney and Julia Roberts to raise money. She can't do it on her own. So they're going to need them at some point. But also, if we are, in fact, on the brink of a recession, that's all people will care about. And, she better hope and pray for good economic news, and that the media will continue to fall in line, and the real journalists will no longer ask her or force her hand, make her do interviews. I worry they won't do that because they know it will only help her. And then we'll be stuck with a Kamala Harris presidency. And then you'll have a bunch of people running around going, wow, why is the economy just complete crappy garbage right now? Because you fell for it and you were complicit and you sold us a bill of goods that turned out to be an empty bag of falsehoods. I will be reporting from the DNC starting tomorrow with Daily Mail, so check out my columns. I will keep you updated. I will give you pictures on social media at Kennedy Nation. So love it. The way I love you so much, it hurts my feelings. This has been Kennedy Saves the World, soon to be from Chicago. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.